Welcome to Mystic Moon Cafe.
You're listening to Mystic Moon Cafe. The views and opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, the network, or our sponsors.
Along. Well, we're live on Facebook, it looks like. So, welcome. Looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, maybe not. How you doing, Rob?
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there. That's a little bit of a rough go of it this evening, trying to get things going. We're having a lot of technical difficulties at our house right now, so maybe that's what we've imparted onto you.
No, Wendy, we can't hear you.
Maybe she went to mime school.
She can hear us, but we can't hear her.
Oh, so just go? Well, hi, Rob. My name's Amanda. It's great to meet you.
Just so everyone knows, I just want to apologize in advance. I have been running hot and cold the entire day, COVID round 4, so I will not be jovial Rob, as if someone like that exists.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's a good point, because most people don't actually understand that COVID takes waves and it takes a lot to get over. So one day you can be top of the pops and the next not doing so well. So thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Yes. I have bunches and bunches and bunches of questions. You're going to absolutely adore me, as if you don't already, by the end of the night. But I also have some questions from people. Yay, real people, not just me. But we're going to start with you. Other than COVID, I had this whole setup going on, but obviously our setups didn't really work out today. So everyone, please excuse me as well. I'm not been at the best myself. I'm not very healthy. This is going to be the unhealthiest, funnest time we ever had. But all right, Rob, you usually like to do your little intro, but this time I want you to do an intro, and let's not talk about the ghost hunter. Let's not talk about lead investigator. Let's not talk about the celebrity, the paraceleb. Who are you? Introduce yourself.
My name's Robb Demarest, from New York, upstate, and New York City. I went to college at about 7 different colleges around New York. Wound up with a degree in psychology and business. That's about it. You know, I've been wiped out from COVID for, as gotta mention it. Besides ghost hunting, you know, I watch a lot of reality TV. Play with my dogs. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple guy.
I feel like even like if you weren't doing ghost hunting, you would be doing something big. What do you think that would be?
I think at this point I would, you know, I'm always been fascinated by the paranormal. So be like cryptozoology or UFO hunting, as opposed to, I think the paranormal is a big world.
Right.
When you go to spiritualism and psychic phenomenon. So I think limiting yourself to just ghosts is just that, limiting.
Do you think that that's easy for you to do, being on shows like Ghost Hunters International?
No, I mean, I have no desire to be on TV anymore.
Well, I think maybe I meant I'm interrupting you because that's what we do. No, I'm kidding. I think what I meant was, do you find it like harder to prove that you are bigger than just a ghost hunter, to prove that you're an investigator because of being on TV? I apologize.
I mean, you're never going to get as much respect being on TV. Once you've done it, you've done it. And everyone's going to say whatever they're going to say. They have their choice what to make of it. I think that it's been easier as far as like, I can reach out to cryptid people and UFO people, and some of them know who I am and some of them don't. So I think it's generally been easier. As far as whether I get accepted or not, that's on them. There's nothing I can do about it.
Well, that's good. That's a good attitude. Like, it doesn't hurt your passion for what you want to do then.
Yeah, I mean, I think I want to change it up, try some new stuff, go fly kites and have different kind of adventures. I think, I've been ghost hunting for, I think, 31 years plus. And so I think it's, will I still do it? Yes. But is the drive still there? Not as much.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I think it's a good time to say, I mean, I've been talking to a lot of people who support you, a lot of people of your fans, and a lot of people that kind of want to get the word out to you. And this would be Mike Hurley. He says that he believes that you're one of the, and I'm going to read off a screen, so that's what I'm doing here. You're one of the most level-headed, honest, sincere of all the ghost hunters that have ever been in the limelight.
Well, definitely appreciate that.
Also, there's a few spots on Earth that, oh, well, that goes into your collection. We can talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I've gotten quite a few of those, and we'll go through those during the nighttime. I also have some questions. You ready for some questions?
Yeah,
this
sure.
One's from Katie Ackerman. So Katie Ackerman's actually one of our sister teams in Vancouver. She is from Vancouver Spooks, sorry. And she has a two-part question. And what would you consider to be one of your best pieces of evidence that life exists after death of the human body?
I don't think I have any.
No.
I always say that I believe that these things we call ghosts exist, but what they are, I have no idea. So just because I get an EVP doesn't mean that it's, someone who lived and died here.
What would it be, though?
I mean, I'm definitely a EVP type person. That's kind of my big thing. A lot of people are into photography and video, and it's just not my thing. I'm not good at it. So I avoid it.
I like that. Now, her question was actually in two parts. Now, being that she said, like, that after our human bodies, what about elementals? What about like inhuman? Do you think that that is something that kind of goes the same way as finding evidence of life after our deaths?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing, that I don't really know,
Hmm.
what these things are. I've had experiences with some strange things over the years. But I don't know if you had to, I mean, that's one of my issues with the field is we just kind of say, well, it's a dead person.
Hmm.
But, there's no collected evidence. There's no, but that's just me. Some people need to believe that, and that's fine. I totally get it.
Yeah. Speaking of weird experiences, I have a question from Tiffany Ann from Winnipeg. And her question is very specific. She says, who is your favorite sister-in-law?
Mm. Oof. I'd say probably Big Mike.
Big Mike. Good old Big Mike. From Shortcut
Big
Road.
Mike. Yeah,
Okay, there might be some backlash, but you are controversial. All right.
it's true.
I really did have these on the screen with me before, but all right. One more question from Cold Waters, or do you want
Sure.
some of my questions?
Whatever
They're
you
no
want to
good.
do.
No, it's your interview. I'm just kidding. All right, this is from Megan Gallagher Pettinger, and I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong. Are you afraid of death?
Sometimes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that specific?
Because when especially, I know we're staying off the topic, but
Mhm.
when you start dealing with COVID, and like right now I am burning up. In 3 minutes I will have goosebumps and be ice cold. And that's been
Right.
going on since 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be frightening. Yeah. I think that looking for spirits does give you some solace, but it doesn't answer you.
Right. Right. Do you think that a lot of people are looking for these answers because they need that solace?
I think some people do it just for the kind of the thrill, the like going to see a horror movie. I think
Mm-hmm.
some people do it because it's a really fascinating scientific endeavor. And yeah, I think some people do it because nobody wants it to just be over, to
Mm-hmm.
just vanish and nothing ever happens again. At least I don't.
Mm-hmm. And not all searches are for death, right? We're sometimes searching for life. Like, what about Bigfoot? What
Yeah, I
about?
mean, I saw that question pop up, and to answer that, um, yes, I am a firm believer. Despite what I just said about all these different things, I am a firm believer that there is a bipedal large monkey hanging around out there. Whether you say Sasquatch or Bigfoot or abominable snowman, I'm a firm believer. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, then we're going to go back to me. So,
Hey, can you hear me now?
oh,
Yay!
yes,
Who
I
it
found my
is?
other one.
yay!
Yay!
What was your other one?
Other
Oh,
Mike.
my blue snowball just doesn't work anymore. So I had to find my cheapo plug and
Mhm.
play microphones.
Good, thank God you're
Oh
here. We were
yeah.
getting
Sounds
so
fine.
dry.
Oh
We were
yeah.
getting so dry. I know.
I'm
Do you
sorry.
ever? I know. I'm kidding. We're awesome.
One of those days, right? I do
Yeah.
love your hair, Amanda. The pink suits you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It's a work in progress. Brad Mondo would probably kill me today after he saw what I did to my hair, but if it looks good, it looks good.
Mhm. Rob, you
Yeah.
look pretty good for being so feverish, but I'm very sorry you don't feel good.
I appreciate it. One of these days I'll wake up and feel perfect again.
Yes, you
And
will. Yes, you will.
Until then, I'm just going to keep complaining about it.
Okay.
I think you might keep like complaining anyway, though.
About something.
About
Isn't that the
something.
guy way?
That's how we know that they're
I
going to
am
be
not.
okay.
No, I'm not good at being sick. I admit.
No.
Who
You
is?
know, and this has been going on for almost a month now, so it's getting
that
pretty old.
that would be like quite the discovery. The person that's like, I'm sick and I'm thriving, and just, I think it takes a lot out of us. So,
Mhm.
and it takes a lot out of us, like mentally and spiritually and everything. Like a lot of my belief systems too. It's just like when you're not there, you're a little bit further apart. Which kind of what I was actually going to be touching on, and we might not want to touch on it, which is fine. But you are an open book. You've always told people how you're feeling. You also tell people like sick, not sick, angry, grumpy, just plain old PO'd at the world. We've all witnessed the backlash to that. We've all witnessed like what people have to say about that.
Yep, and that's their right, and that's fine.
How do you think that that's helped you though in your journey in the paranormal?
I don't think it has. I think it's more than anything, it might have driven me away faster than I would have. But like I said, I wouldn't take away someone's right to say I can't stand that guy.
Mhm.
I asked for it. Like I'm on a lot of the time. I'm in character, and so you get what you pay for.
Right. But you're also like that in your own personal world, and a lot of people do commend you on your honesty and on your kind of no bullshit way. So I think that there would be a positive reaction to that, and I think that we all
There's
can
both.
see that.
Everyone knows there's been controversy and mayhem and all these things that have happened.
Mhm.
And I just got to bounce back. It's just been a while.
Mhm. And you do talk a lot about the haters and the people that come and the people that kind of try to bring you down a little bit. But then there's also the team Rob, as I call them. There is the people that don't want to be, that follow that and do see it, and words of encouragement. So it's
You get a mix. Everyone's going to get a mix. If you agree to be in the public eye in any way, you got to take the good with the bad. You can't just be like, oh, people are mean to me. It's going to happen.
Yeah. And sorry.
If I worked at Target and never was on TV, probably not that many people would dislike me. But I made the decision to go on TV and be a loudmouth, and it's all right.
So recognizing like the people that had your back, like what would you say to them?
I mean, I have nothing but incredible support for them. I've gotten some really touching messages over the years, made some good friends. So definitely very appreciative of the support, but at the same time, like I said, if you're not if I'm not your cup of tea, that's cool too.
That was a great segue.
Um,
Because
oh, okay. There was one question kind of pertaining to this. Rob, have you had any in your illness? Have you had any fever dreams or seen any potential paranormal anything? I'm sorry.
The house that I live in, it's one of the most paranormal places I've ever been.
Wow.
Which makes no sense. There's nothing particularly important about the land or anyone who lived here, but I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the fever. Like you get knocks on the door, you hear voices, but that was happening before too.
Interesting. Thank you.
Anything
Good answer.
heightened though?
It's hard, you know, at times it's gotten hard to tell what's real because I've been so like, you know, I'm sweating bullets and it's 65 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
That's
but like I
understandable.
said, it'll be over soon enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okie
So
dokie.
what I was going to say is there was another message came in, and it just says, "Hey Robb D, Crazy Christy from across the pond here. Just want you to hear from your super fans. So here I am. Ever since that first episode of GHI, I've been a fan of yours. The way that you held yourself and your team have just kind of struck a chord with me. Your calm demeanor, not jumping to conclusions, making out everything was paranormal. The lack of gadgets, which is a big plus in my eyes. The list is endless. The Haunted Australia series was epic. Not only were you working on with some fantastic people, they got to work with you. In my eyes, that you are the truest investigator out there. Because of you, I'm a ghost investigator. I am the ghost investigator that I am today. And for that, sir, I am truly thankful. I am big happy face. And I think that when we go through
Great.
hard times, people need to hear that. So
Yeah, it has been a rough couple months. And by the way, I told you guys, now goosebumps. I've now switched and I'm now freezing. My hands are sweating and I've got goosebumps. But I canceled and postponed a lot of radio interviews. So come heck or high water, I was gonna make sure I was here tonight.
yes.
Well, feel free to, if you need to kick back. I don't know if you can kick back where you are there, or grab a drink or whatever. That's all good too.
Okay, I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna soldier it out, but I appreciate it.
Okay, we'll make Amanda sing for a few minutes if you need a minute to yourself.
Yeah,
Rob's actually the singer. Rob's the singer of the house.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. All right. Who do we got here? Wow. This is from Lisa Dennis from the UK, and this is, I believe, one of Rob's favorites. I think that they can actually tie into like the fear. But what was your scariest encounter? And I don't mean scariest investigation. Like, what was the actual encounter, whether it be investigation, during an investigation, or just you out there in the world? What's the scariest paranormal encounter?
When I was in Vancouver, I saw a young girl in a yellow hooded sweatshirt and jeans, and she had her head down, bowed down. She vanished. Was I scared? No. But was it pretty alarming? Absolutely. Like, there's people say, well, you've seen a bunch of ghosts. I've seen more UFOs than I have spirits. So that was pretty alarming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually shook you for a few days. I do remember that. And this is quite interesting because my next actual question was from Danny Menlo from Canada. And he says, while you were recently up in Vancouver, so you lived up there for about a year, he said, what made the culture of the Pacific Northwest intriguing to a seasoned investigator that's been around the world? What was it about Vancouver? What was different about the Pacific Northwest to you?
What's different to me that people disagree with me is, yes, very polite, very well mannered, but don't say excuse me. Like people like just charge past you.
Was that your house?
It wasn't
That was
me.
my house. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have things happening over here. So
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think generally people were very polite, were very friendly. You know, it was nice. Not that people here aren't, but it was a nice change of pace from some of the places I've lived.
did you find like that there was any belief differences or cultural differences when it came to the paranormal?
I think that's group by group. Like
Mhm.
indigenous people may believe one thing, people from Asia, different countries in Asia. So I don't think I'd be able to lump Vancouver together and say this is the belief of Vancouver.
Mhm.
That was actually a shout out shout out from Terry Cookendale. You know him. He says he watched you, Rob, all through high school, and you brought him into this world. Not Zach Baggins, you know, Bilbo's cousin, not Greg and Dana Newkirk, not John Tenney, but Rob.
Yeah, and some of those are great investigators, you know, and I've gotten too old for the beef and the I don't like this one and this one doesn't like me. So, you know, shout outs to Zach and the Newkirks and John Tenney. You know, I wish him the best.
So if you had, this is like a 3-part question. If you could make, and it doesn't need to be on TV, if you could have a dream team, and yeah, including yourself, so don't include yourself, you could have a dream team, who would be on your dream team?
I think Amanda, you would be. I would bring Gaurav Tiwari back. You know, I've had a chance to work with some great people: Keith Age, Chip Coffey, Ryan Buell. You know, all the GHI people. The list just would go on forever.
I should have limited it to 5.
Mm.
So this one I'm going to limit to 5, and you're included in it. So this is a dream team, but this is only people that appeared on TV.
Myself, Gaurav Tiwari. Oh, we'll take Ryan Buell. Just random. We'll go with Dave Tango and Dustin Perry.
All right. That's not a bad team there. Now, Annie Caliber here. Who is it that we should be watching, in your opinion?
Watching as far as what, TV?
Yeah, on anything, or book writers, or it's a hard question, but who? Because a lot of people out there aren't doing what?
Well, do you want to have a good laugh and not making fun of them, but they're very like entertaining in that way? Then you go with the Ghost Brothers. You know, if you want it to be very hardcore, you go with Ghost Hunters. You know, there's different shows for all different types.
And what about people that are not doing it for TV?
What should they be watching? The Circle.
Ooh, The Circle is good. It is, yeah.
Yeah, good show.
Is there gonna be another season?
There is. They've already filmed it, actually. They're just waiting to release it.
Are you gonna be in it?
No.
We can't
My
actually
TV days are done.
That's not pasta. All right. So do you have any comments on there, Wendy?
Oh, all kinds of them.
Oh, great.
Let's see. Terry's asking or saying, tell me about Steve Shippey in Robb's opinion. Robb?
Yeah, I mean, I know I wouldn't say we're like buddies, but seems like a good guy. I've watched his show before he had a show.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's entertaining. I think he's a solid investigator.
Okay. There are all kinds of people in the chat room wishing you well and hoping you feel better and are doing okay.
I appreciate it because right now I am seriously, this is my first combo where my hands are sweating and I've got goosebumps. It's the weirdest feeling, but I think people think that generally I'm on, and I think this is more me than the shtick, I
Right.
mean, the antics.
This is Robb D raw.
You need the hat.
Yeah, it's me, it's, I think a lot of people, when I discuss my own failings and anxiety and depression and all that kind of thing, that I've had people actually write to me and say, don't talk about that. You have to hold yourself up to a higher standard. No, I don't. I'd rather tell people, look, insomnia is a jerk.
It is yeah.
Anxiety is painful, is horrible. So I'm not gonna, and that's, another nice thing about not being on TV anymore is you don't have to worry about what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm not advocating anything or doing mental health lectures or, but I want people to know that it's okay. Just like I think ghost hunters in America years ago made it okay to say, oh my God, there's a ghost in my house. I don't mind being someone who says, yeah, I was on TV, but I've suffered from, you name it, up, down, and sideways. I'm one walking ball of anxiety most of the time. So, and I don't want people to be that stigma of mental health and taking care of your mental, I always say if someone breaks their leg, then everyone says, oh, that is horrible. Oh my God. Someone says, yeah, I'm feeling depressed. They go, well, get over it. Don't be. It's not that easy.
No.
So
well,
yeah.
It's not that easy. And you did touch on being on TV or, not having, I think that you do spread that word out there. And I think that in our field that's it is huge to even discuss what we're doing. And there was a question about that is like, how would you kind of like not counsel, but how would you like, I'm gonna read the question word for word. It was Tammy J. Miller. And I think this is amazingly important, but how do you get people to understand the paranormal, or that you're hearing things or seeing things in your house without automatically going to you're crazy or there's something wrong with you?
Drug use or, something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a risk you're always going to be taking. There's going to be, I always say there's a difference between a skeptic and a cynic. A skeptic says, I don't know, I want to see it to believe it. A cynic says, even if something walks up to me and a ghost tries to high five me, I won't believe it. So as far as that goes, it's all in how you phrase it, I think, when you talk to people.
Right.
And the old phrase, like, well, then I guess they weren't really your friend anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's some of that there too. That, you know, if they don't believe you, there's probably a lot of stuff they don't believe about you.
Right. You're right. Right. And I think so I mean, that adds to the negativity, that adds to the fear, and it adds to a lot of, I don't know, the traps that we get caught into. So do you think that when we're caught into these traps, that maybe activity would heighten, or do you think that it would become more negative? I think that it's
Excuse me.
is it more negative energy, or is it superstition? Is it other people's beliefs that we're buying into?
I mean, personally, I believe that you know, the old saying, don't go do an investigation if you're already down, because that door does seem to be more open.
Mhm.
And you're kind of asking for it, you know. That's my opinion. If people
Mhm.
say, well, I like going in and yelling and provoking, and I can't stop you, you know, that's
Mhm.
your choice. I think it's a
Mhm.
bad idea, but you know, I wouldn't, if it is someone who passed away, I wouldn't want someone threatening my grandmother, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thing.
Mhm. Yeah. And and I got one from Chris T saying, um, does fear attract that?
It does, in a very, very real way. Um, if you hear a knock, your ears become more sensitive. So now the
Mhm.
next knock is even louder. And
Mhm.
the same with, like, I felt a cold draft. The
Right.
first time it happens, you just go, man, there's a window open. The second time, it's a little more frightening. Um, and I think we, as investigators, we always want to be careful that we're not falling into that. Just saying, you know, it started out quietly and then
Mhm.
there was bangs everywhere.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Because everything does become heightened when you're heightened, right?
It does. You know, if
Mhm.
you're already nervous and scared, you're going to be more scared.
Mm-hmm.
And on the flip side too, I've been in investigations where um when you're tired and your team is tired, all of a sudden it's like, well, nothing's really happening now. Let's go home.
Yeah, I've
So
EOR'd myself
mhm.
plenty of times.
Mhm.
Um, you know, when we did GHI, there were times where, you know, we'd be filming, or I'd be filming, and Dustin and Barry and some of the people who I worked with, Andy Andrews, we'd film from noon till 7:30 in the morning.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was a long night. And it's funny that I heard the discussion the other night, on another broadcast, that they're talking about the bewitching hour, 3 a.m.
Mhm.
I've never found that. I've always found that the activity happens early in the evening, and it's like lifting weights. At
Mhm.
first you can lift quite a bit, and then you get more and more tired. And I think that the same thing happens to spirits.
Mhm.
You know, so if you want to wait around till 3 in the morning, by all means, knock yourself out. There's a lot of people who, they say, well, we're real investigators, we stay all night. Great. You know,
Mhm.
I feel like I want to get a fair sample of the location and not have the investigation hangover that we've all had, that you just feel like death the next day. You feel like I do right now.
The old paranormal hangover.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And so I don't need to do that anymore. If I feel like I've gotten a fair sampling by 1 a.m., I'm going home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I've seen that too, where it's just more, how many smoke breaks are people going to take? How many, we're just going to sit here and talk about this for a while, and it's not actual investigation. And it's it's a shame. It's a shame it does happen, but at the same time, I think it's the sign of the times, because a lot of people, and I think you've touched base on this a few times, they're following a script that they don't even have, right? And I don't know. Yeah, I think when it comes to the paranormal, and this is definitely directed towards you, Rob. Um, what most scares you? Is it maybe where we're going as a paranormal community? Where, like, is it like is it the misguidance that people are getting? Is it the actual encounters or the equipment we're using? What scares you
It's
the
all
most?
it's all of them.
Mhm,
Um, I came out and said that there's a new way of doing things that I call microwave ghost hunting. That you want results as soon as you walk in the door. So you use equipment that's going to give you those results, but they're not legit in my opinion.
mhm,
Um, and look, someone said the other day, I read on Facebook that they said, "Oh, it's the field's ruined because it's all about fame now."
mhm,
It's been all about fame for a long time. You want to talk about Harry Price and the Fox sisters and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This is nothing new. That's not ruining the field. When people say paradrama is ruining the field, nobody takes us
mhm,
seriously. That's not
mhm,
why they don't take us seriously. They don't take us seriously because we don't come up with anything. We
mhm,
sit in basements for hours in the dark. And one of the things I always found amusing is, and I've done it, I'm not gonna lie, I've done it, is they
mhm.
say, why do you investigate in the dark? Because it's spookier.
You can't tell
Because,
I'm sleeping.
well, yeah, exactly, because otherwise all the shows, the famous line, and I've done it 100 times myself, what was that? Well, if the lights were on, would you look over and say, "Oh, a spoon fell off the sink," and you'd keep going. But instead, everyone runs in circles and says, "I think it's on my recorder. Oh my God, what's going on?" And
Mhm,
Do it again. Do it again.
yeah,
Hmm.
uh, which is I always think is a ironic one. The do it again. It's I just think
no.
if I was deceased and I was in a building, I'd want someone to come in and try and help me out, try and talk to me and help figure out the best way to solve the problem, not
Mhm,
have me be a little circus monkey and, say, "Can you knock on the door?" And then they knock on the door, and like you said, can you do it 3 times now?
mhm.
That's not helping anyone. You wouldn't want someone to treat you like that. But
So are we
as I,
going backwards? Are we like doing spirituality, like, you know, make
I
this
don't think
candle
there's
flicker?
anything wrong with doing spirituality. I just think
Mm,
that some
I
of
don't
the
think so either.
equipment, it
Mhm.
is some of the equipment is just not good in my opinion.
No,
And
that makes sense.
everyone knows what what equipment I think is junk.
Yeah,
It's
Val, that's her question. Sorry. But come
it's
on.
pretty well publicized what I
If you
think is
microwave a meal, you're going to get a warm meal, but it's not going to be the same quality of food as if you cook it properly.
Right.
You
There you
know,
go.
so there. That being said, you did speak up about certain equipment and just techniques that you've learned over the year, and you're being asked these questions. You are being asked these questions because you have experience. You do have a lot of there's a lot of bones to pick in your head that we can get some knowledge out of. And then when you come up with answers, you get called condescending or what gives you the right.
Happens all the time. I got in trouble
Mhm,
on Facebook for getting in an argument over a piece of equipment,
mhm.
which is fine. I don't care. I'm sick of Facebook anyway. Um, big shout out for Facebook. But
As we all of a sudden aren't
We all
broadcasting
in
anymore.
jail, yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, I think there's a no comment.
Okay, no
Okay,
comment, but
okay.
do you think that maybe these questions are being asked out of misunderstanding, or do you think that maybe these questions are actually being asked to kind of um misjudge your own confidence? Not misjudge, like just like mistake.
Undermine your own confidence.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like your
It's-
perspective it isn't worth the confidence, and it, and I think that
When
might be a beast of TV.
if someone's what I find is people just want you to agree with them.
Yes.
Especially people who have been in the field for quite some time. So they say, "Do you like this piece of equipment?" And they love it. So you say, "No, I think it's junk," and they go, "You're junk. What do you know?" Well, I was great 10 seconds ago before
Right.
I said I didn't like what you like.
Mhm.
I think that people that are just getting into it,
Yeah.
they're a lot more open, and they say, you hear the same thing every time, and I totally agree with it.
Yeah.
Don't break the bank if you're getting started in this field. If you've got a cell phone, you've got a lot of the important tools you could possibly need. You've got a video recorder, you've got an audio recorder, you can take pictures, you can do all these things.
Mhm.
So don't unless you try it and say this is something I really enjoy. Don't be an idiot like me and spend thousands of dollars and then be broke because you bought every piece of gear known to man.
As seen on TV. That was kind of a private joke, and it
Right. Yeah. No, I but I understood it.
It's his favorite store. So this is coming from Demaya. She wants to give you some words of encouragement. So she just wanted to, she's actually been working for 27 hours in a row. So she's like, she's a workaholic anyway. She just woke up because she wanted to say that you need to continue to not let other people tell you how to walk your path. You walk the path that you walk in the paranormal community. Yours is a
Thank you,
unique
Demaya.
path. You guide and you teach others. It is welcome and needed, and she is so excited to see where it leads. And I think she means that
Appreciate
in
it.
her story and in your story. And Demaya is one of our investigators up in Vancouver, so I think that's really, really, really cool. You were getting so many good things. You're also getting some fun things. Like, we ready for a fun question?
Sure.
Yeah, if you could be any animal, this comes from Mr. Ryan Tate from Vancouver. You could be any animal in this world, and do not say dragoon. What animal would it be and why?
A monkey, because they seem like they're always having so much fun. Like other animals are like miserable and they're fighting and like dogs and all that. Monkeys seem to be having a great time.
Is it because you just want to fling poop?
That too. Nothing wrong with that.
Actually, that's a good one. I can continue on with that, but I'm not going to because we'll run out of time. Okay, Valzel is going to ask your favorite question. And one of them is the favorite and least favorite piece of equipment.
Very controversial one. My favorite is the Panasonic RRDR60 voice recorder. Least favorite, boy, you could pick quite a few. The SLS, the Shack Hack. But that, like a lot of people say, well, what do you know? You're not wrong. What do I know? You know what I mean? I use what works for me. And if it works for you, fantastic.
Good answer.
Mhm.
I will not ever answer that question because I'll get in trouble. What about you, Wendy?
The spirit boxes really irritate me a lot. I don't know that. I honestly don't know their exact standing in the community, and I know a lot of people like them a lot. I just don't see it, but the noise drives me up a wall, and so therefore I will never use one myself.
Yeah.
I feel like they're panic inducing, the noise. I think it kind of adds to the belief that they're working. The other thing that adds to the belief is the money spent. Like if you spend a lot of money on a piece of equipment, it's going to be your favorite equipment. Yeah, like that would be one. A certain bear that may say boo.
Well,
I think that there's definitely some equipment out there that no. So that's, but DR60. What do you think? What other than that? Because that's not always the easiest one to find.
Get a Sony IB7. You can get them for like $7-8 on eBay. That would be my second choice. So one is thousands of dollars and one is $7. So you make up your mind.
$1,000, and I want it for my birthday.
I saw one the other day. It's now going for, they're asking for buy it now, 4,500.
It's
holy
quite
crap!
Insane.
That's more than I paid for my car.
That's more than I paid for my car, guaranteed. And I'm paying for it now. Falling apart on me.
Oh shoot! Yeah, I'm working on getting mine with some help from some very good friends. We're putting mine back together. So
I'd like a little robot, that came with me and it told me that I was a dumbass when I was thinking that something that wasn't paranormal was, or vice versa. Yeah, could fit into little places and do the work for me. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, there are devices like that out there. David Pierce Rodriguez, I know, created one years ago that will, it has built-in camera, built-in audio, it travels around. It doesn't
wear a hat.
I'm sure you could put a hat on it. Sure.
I'm happy.
All right. Sweaty.
Well, you're always sweaty though. That's part of your charm.
No, I'm not. I'm not a sweaty person. I'm really like drenched at the moment.
This is an important part of paranormal everything.
Well, I'm hoping that I'm sweating this junk out.
When do you go grab yourself some water or a Gatorade? Unless I drank the last one.
Stay hydrated, definitely.
Yeah, I've been drinking water like it's my job, so I've taken every medication two of every medication in the house, and nothing has helped. So anyway.
Okay, so a question that we did have in chat was, what is the most haunted country in your opinion? Paranormal.
That I've been to. England.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean that I think it's the most haunted country. It means that I've been to a lot of locations there that I think are active. It could be Czech Republic for all I know.
Right.
I really don't know. I think England, I guess, also love the country, so any excuse to go over there, which I haven't had in quite some time.
Oh man, we'll work on it.
Mhm.
We'll put some positive energies towards it. See what we can get going.
There you go.
And that actually might answer Jenny Tartlin's question. And she is from Vancouver Island, Canada, in BC. And her question was, what location keeps calling you? Now, that could be a specific location or...
I would really like to go to Ghost Island, aka Hashima Island in Japan. Not necessarily because I think it's super haunted, but the idea that there's this tiny little city just sitting there empty is just kind of fascinating. It's like our version of the American ghost town, except it's a city. There's still magazines on the table.
Creepy.
Like that.
That's creepy.
So if you did go there and you got a feeling, you got your spidey sense up, what would you be what would your go-to like technique to even start a paranormal investigation there? You don't know if it's haunted, you don't know if it's not.
I do the same thing every time I introduce myself. I let them know that I don't mean any harm. I don't want to bother them. If they don't want me there, I'll leave. The end. I always said, you get these EVPs that swear at you and get mad at you. I said, what if someone knocked on your front door and when you opened it, they just walked right past you and made themselves a turkey sandwich and changed the channel on your TV? Like, it's their home, not yours. So I always just try and start by being respectful.
What would you say the don'ts on any location, any investigation?
This one's going to sound really dumb, but my don't is don't try and scare someone, like jump out from around a corner. And the reason being is that, don't make that face. The reason being is then anything that happens after that, they're not going to take it as seriously. So remain professional, don't try and jump scare each other. Just do the job you were brought in there for.
And you know what, and you're very respectful of that. My face that I was making was before we realized how completely and utterly active our home is somebody thought it would be really funny to hide in closets and behind doors. And
doesn't seem funny to me.
Yeah. Now, well, I didn't find it very funny either. So anyway, let's talk about our relationship now. We have problems. No, okay. So this one, okay, this one's come Cricket Little Star. This is a good one. This is a good one. She's asking, is having an indigenous love, has that affected your life? Has that affected your perceptions of spirits, of cryptids, of legends? Has that affected the way that you maybe present yourself in those situations? Or does it validate what's already in your heart?
I don't know if it changes my opinion. I think I was very surprised by a recent country I was in, the treatment of some indigenous people. is pretty horrible. That was a wake up call, but you know, a ghost hunter is a ghost hunter. I think that they all have their own style. And if, you know, I mean, so that part hasn't changed.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I just got a message from a Callista. Not sure if you know a Callista, but she would like to know when the last time you called your mother was.
It's, probably, I mean, I've been pretty sick, and so I don't think she'd want to particularly just hear me kind of ramble, which apparently I've been doing.
You're doing good.
But it's been about a week, I'd say.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
I'd probably get in more trouble if I didn't ask that question then.
Well,
What do you guys got?
it was brought up in the chat room, and it was actually how I was going to try to start off the show until, you know, I had no voice. But we're sending big hugs and love and as much positive energy to the Ukraine as we possibly can. That's just a horrible situation over there, and I'm going to add, you know, we can hope Putin drops dead. So there.
I don't. I'm going to disagree with you on one part. I don't wish death on anyone.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely. It shows you how unevolved we are as human beings, that we're still taking guns and walking into other people's countries and shooting them.
Yes.
It's a shame. It's a real shame. And you know, my son texted me tonight and said, "So do you think this is going to be World War III?" And my answer is, I don't think so. I think Russia is just going to take the Ukraine, and we're going to turn our heads the other way. I could be wrong.
I agree with you. I figure that will probably happen, but we won't know until we know, right?
I've read that there was, I don't want to start rumors, but I read that there was an American contingent on the way over there. Scary stuff, scary times, as always, you know, in the middle of an epidemic where people are dropping dead right, left, and center, to start a massive war is pretty crazy. And that's not to say that America hasn't done it too. You know, how many times have you heard it's a war for oil? I disagreed with that, but I think this one is. You know, Russia's not going over there because they love their neighbors so much.
No, not at all. Or trying to liberate people the Russians who wanted to go back to Russia, or I don't know. I hear all those rumors too. I can't keep them all straight. I don't even try, really.
You know, I rarely go on Facebook anymore. I rarely read the news. Sometimes for me, burying my head in the sand is better than looking around.
Yes.
You know, that's just me sometimes.
I get that way as well. Although I find with myself I'm very connected to the land. So when I look at even just certain areas where I've grown up, and I just think there's just so much healing and so much, you know, and then you look at war-torn areas as well too. And I think that affects us all on a human level and on an earth level too. So it's a hard one not to.
Excuse me.
Well,
I'm going between
Mhm.
nausea and chills and yawning, and boy, if I was a horse, they'd take me out back and shoot me.
Mhm.
You know, this old mare,
Ooh.
she ain't what she used to be.
Is it an option?
Would
No.
you like to end? Go ahead and we can stop the show tonight and you can just come back next week or
Mhm.
something. Another day
Yes.
next week.
Yeah, I mean that would probably, unless you really want to see me vomit.
Not really, no.
Camera,
I'm a
Oh.
sympathetic vomiter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I-
mean, if you, yeah, like, I mean, we have tons of stuff, and we can always you know, revisit. And I think that you coming out and doing this was amazing. So
Yes.
go to bed.
I'm out. I'm already out on my feet. So
All right, Rob.
I appreciate you guys having me. You know, I hope you have a wonderful night. Stay safe. Stay away from people as much as you can. Wear your mask.
Oh yeah.
You know, I wore my mask all the time. I had 3 Pfizer shots and 1 Johnson & Johnson, and I've still been sick as a dog.
Wow.
So yeah, stay away from people. You
Mhm.
know, it's not worth it right now.
And the love and support for you there is, you know, feel better, Rob. Hope you feel better, you know,
Appreciate it.
reach out, brother, you know, this just all kinds of, yeah, everybody's pulling for you and sending you good energies.
Mhm.
And I appreciate them doing that too. You know, I
Mhm.
hope everyone stays safe. So have a wonderful night,
Mhm.
You too, Rob.
and we'll talk to you
you know, as
soon.
good as you can. Go lay down. Feel better.
I'm going to.
Go down.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
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 All right. We will set you up on another
Mhm.
day, like next week or whatever you want.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And
Sure.
it is very, like, it comes and it goes, and it's like,
I've heard that so many times.
yeah.
Mhm.
So he was actually doing quite well, and then I could just tell.
Yeah, I could tell too. Yeah, it was in his voice and his eyes, and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. But thank you. Thank you so
sure,
much.
sure. Now,
Mhm.
next Thursday we've got Nick T. White coming on, and yeah, it'll be fun. He's a Tennessean, and you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
ghost hunter, cryptid enthusiast guy.
Love it. Love it.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
Well, thanks for letting us have some fun. And
Absolutely. Thank you for being on, and yeah, we'll talk and get it set up.
Mhm. I'll get my
Okay.
hair fixed by then.
Hey, I cut my own last week, so there.
Your hair is so long. I love it.
Oh, that's actually it's a lace thing for around the neck.
I'm gonna get one of those for next time.
There you go. All right, everybody.
All right.
Thank you for joining us in the chat and watching, and we'll get Rob back on in the next week,
Mhm.
just when he's feeling better, and
Yeah.
talk
He'll
to
be
you all later.
feistier.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you all.
Good night.
Night.
Bye.
All right. How do I stop that? I forget what I did last time.
Mhm.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.